Good morning, my dear students. Today we have taken the rest of the portions in transportation in human beings and also transportation in plants, then excretion. These are the things that we have covered today. And we know that there are two blood vessels that carry bloods throughout our body, arteries and veins. Arteries carries oxygenated blood and veins carry deoxygenated blood, except in the case of pulmonary artery and pulmonary veins, right? So when the arteries carry blood from heart, we know that heart will be having a pumping mechanism, though, so it will exert a pressure inside the arteries, so that in order to withstand that pressure, that pumping mechanism, arteries having a thick wall and thick and flexible wall. That is the main difference between arteries and veins. But veins didn't have such thick and flexible walls. But veins have special valves in order to ensure that blood flows only in one direction in order to prevent the backflow. Okay, and when the arteries reaches the tissues and organs, it will divide into smaller and smaller blood vessels, which are called as capillaries. Okay, and this capillaries will carry it will have a one cell thickness. Capillaries have a one cell thickness, and it helps to exchange the material from the tissues and blood. Okay, and this is about the blood vessels and capillaries. The next thing is the maintenance by platelet. When an injury occurs in our body, the blood leaks through that injury, and if our entire blood is leaked from our body, no, after a very few seconds, a clot will appear, right? So that clot will formed as a result of the action of platelets. Platelets are responsible for blood clotting when an injury or any leaking occurs in blood vessels. Okay, and the next thing is about lymph. Lymph is the fluid tissue just similar to blood that helps to transport some material. It is also a fluid tissue, and it is also called as tissue fluid. And lymph is formed when blood flows through the capillaries, through the pores present in the capillaries. The plasma, some part of the plasma leaks into the intercellular space along with the protein, along with some proteins and blood cells. That is called as lymph or tissue fluid. And the lymph drains to lymphatic capillaries from the intercellular spaces, and then it joins to lymph vessels, and these lymph vessels will together constitute a lymphatic system in our body. And the function of this lymph is that carries digested and absorbed fat from intestine. This is the function of lymph or tissue fluid. It is just similar to plasma, but there is a difference in its color, and also there is very small quantity of protein is present in lymphatic tissue or tissue fluid. Okay, next thing is transportation in plants. We know that in addition to the sunlight, carbon dioxide that is necessary for photosynthesis, there are certain other things that also required for maintaining such purposes in plants. Minerals, water, then the elements like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all these things are also needed, that is to be taken from the soil. There are two pathways or mechanism present for the transportation, or two modes of pathways occur inside the plant as the transportation mechanism. First one is from the leaves, the energy is being transported. That means through the photosynthesis, chemical energy is prepared in leaf, which means in the form of carbohydrate. Chemical energy in the form of carbohydrate is produced, and that energy, that carbohydrate is transported to various part of the plant. That is the first mechanism. And the second one is from the roots, the raw material is transported. We know that the raw materials like water, minerals, etc. is being transported from the roots to the various part of the plant. That is the second mechanism. And how these mechanism will occur? With the help of some specialized tissue called xylem and phloem, the transportation occurs in plants. We can discuss in detail. Xylem have two types of elements called xylem tracheids and xylem vessels. With the help of these two elements, the transportation of water and minerals occurs through xylem. And this also done with the help of two mechanisms in plants. First one is based on the iron concentration gradient, and the second mechanism is with the help of transpiration pull. These two mechanisms are performed by the plants for the transportation of water and minerals. And first mechanism is based on iron concentration gradient. We know that soil and roots are in close association or in close relationship, so that there occurs the exchange of ions. So when the exchange of ions occur, there occurs an ion gradient in roots, so that the water from the soil enters into the roots. Okay, that is the first thing occurs for the transportation of water that reaches the roots. And in the case of higher plants like bigger trees, that mechanism is not enough for the conduction of water and minerals. So what will happen? They can adopt the second mechanism, transpiration pull. We know that in the leaves, through transpiration, the water is lost. Transpiration is the process of loss of water in the form of water vapor through the stomata present in the aerial part of the plant. So, through transpiration, there occurs a water deficiency that causes a root pressure. And through that deficiency, the water is forced or it is pulled from the roots to the leaves. So, that mechanism is the second thing adopted by plants. So, the transportation of water and minerals occurs with the help of xylem, vessels and tracheids, and that is conducted by two mechanisms with the help of iron concentration gradient and also with the help of transpiration pull. Okay, and the second thing is the translocation of food material with the help of phloem. Phloem helps to transport the food material prepared in the leaves into the various part of the plant. And for that, there are two elements, phloem seed tubes and companion cells are present. In addition to the food, phloem also transport the amino acids. Okay, so for that, the phloem translocation occurs only with the help of energy, and this energy is provided by ATP molecule. When the sucrose enters to the phloem, the sucrose that is prepared by photosynthesis is transferred to the phloem, there occurs a concentration gradient. So, the osmotic pressure will become high and water from the surrounding cells enters into the phloem. So, when the water along with sucrose is present inside the phloem, there occurs a pressure. And that pressure helps to exchange the food material from the surroundings to the surrounding cells. This is how the translocation of food through phloem occurs. Okay, and the next thing in this chapter, the last topic in this chapter is excretion. So, excretion in animals and plants are very different. First, let me discuss about the excretion in animals. We know that in animals there are unicellular and multicellular organisms, and based on that there are different strategies that is being adopted for excretion. In the case multicellular organism, there is a single cell present, and that cell perform the excretion mechanism by simple diffusion. Okay, and in the case of multicellular organism like human beings, there is an excretory system is present, well established or well developed excretory system is present. And in excretion, what will happen? The removal of waste, the removal of different types of waste occurs. In the excretory system of human beings, there exists a pair of kidneys, then a pair of ureter, then urinary bladder and urethra. These are the organs, or these are the parts in our body that are responsible for excretion. And the kidneys are located on the both side of our backbone, on the abdominal region, on the two sides of our backbone. Urine is produced in kidneys, and it is transported through the ureters, and ureters are entered to the urinary bladder, where the urine is collected, and from the urinary bladder through urethra the urine is released. Just like carbon dioxide is eliminated from the blood to the lungs, the nitrogenous waste like urea and uric acid is eliminated from the blood to the kidneys. That is, the filtration process occurs in kidney, and inside the kidney there are very numerous thin blood vessels present that helps in the filtering process. And that capillary cluster, we call it as capillary cluster, and that capillary cluster associated with the end of a cup-shaped tube, which is called as Bowman's capsule, a cup-shaped end of a coiled tube called Bowman's capsule. And Bowman's capsule helps in filtration, and each kidney will have this filtration units called nephrons. And let me see what is the process occur inside the kidney during excretion with the help of a video. Excretion. The biological process involved in the removal of harmful metabolic waste from the body is called excretion. In case of unicellular organisms, waste are removed from the body surface into the surrounding water by the process called diffusion. But in case of multicellular organisms, specialized organs are involved to perform excretion. Excretion in human beings. The chief organ that is involved in excretion is kidneys. The excretory system of human beings consists of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, urinary bladder and urethra. Kidneys are located in the abdomen on either side of the backbone. Kidney is the basic filtration unit. It consists of very thin-walled blood capillaries. Each capillary cluster is associated with a cup-shaped end of a tube that collects filtered urine. Each kidney has large number of filtration units called nephrons packed close together. The waste products are nitrogenous waste that are collected from the blood in the form of urine. The produced urine passes through ureters into urinary bladders. The urine is stored in the urinary bladder, and the urine is released to outside through urethra. The process of urine formation takes place in 3 steps: filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. Kidneys are vital organs for survival. Several factors like infections, injury, or restricted blood flow to kidneys reduce the activity of kidneys. This leads to accumulation of poisonous waste in the body, which can even lead to death. In case of kidney failure, an artificial kidney can be used. An artificial kidney is a device to remove nitrogenous waste products from the blood through dialysis. Artificial kidneys contain a number of tubes with a semi-permeable lining suspended in a tank filled with a dialysing fluid. This fluid has the same osmotic pressure as blood, except that it is devoid of nitrogenous waste. The patient's blood is passed through these tubes. During this passage, the waste products from the blood pass into dialysing fluid by diffusion. The purified blood is pumped back into the patient. This is similar to the function of the kidneys, but it is different since there is no reabsorption involved. Normally, in a healthy adult, the initial filtrate in the kidney is about 180 liter daily. However, the volume actually excreted is only a liter or 2 a day because the remaining filtrate is reabsorbed in the kidney tubules. So we have studied the excretion in human beings, and there is a very small topic left behind to take, that is excretion in plants. We know that the main excretion is in plants occurs through transpiration, the loss of water, excess water, and also the exchange of carbon dioxide, oxygen. All these are the excretion occurs in plants. And there are certain other waste products that can be eliminated through the cellular vacuoles. Many plant waste products are saved, or it is stored inside the cellular vacuoles present in plants. And also some waste are present in leaves, and that may be fallen off. And also there are certain gums and resins excreted by the plants that also contains the waste material of plants. And there is one more thing, plants also excrete some of the waste to the soil also. So these are the simple waste elimination mechanism in plants. So these are the things coming under this chapter. Here ends our chapter, and this is enough for today's class. The next chapter, that is control and coordination, we will discuss in our next class. Thank you.